What's going on, you guys? Mouth of the Mark here. I'm Matt. He's Dan. We're back for another WWE pay-per-view. Are you guys surprised? You shouldn't be. It's been
No,
Has it been almost a year yet? Have we come close to a year? Are we only 6 months? Where are we? I don't even know.
I don't know either. I think it was right after Mania when we did. I think the first one after Mania was the first pay-per-view we did.
Did we, yeah, maybe it was Extreme Rules because I don't think we
I
covered
think it was,
Mania.
yeah. I think it was Extreme Rules because I did the Mania. I did the Pro Wrestling Cast for Mania last
That's
year,
right, you did. You and Nixon did. That's right.
and
So
then
we're
that's what kind
almost
of sparked it. Yeah. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm proud that we've actually done something with like dedication. It's great.
it's it's been 9 months. That's
Yeah.
three-quarters of a year. We could round up, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
We'll just round it up. We'll just round
I
it
mean,
up.
if WWE's taking time off right now, we can take time off. Like,
Right. Right. If they're like just phoning it in.
then we can. Like, yeah, whatever. So, um, Daniel, I'm gonna let you take care of this first little bit because I know the pre-show you were saying they had some issues. I actually didn't watch the pre-show. I was busy until about a quarter after 7, so I actually came in late to the show. So I missed Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. So, uh, take it away, good sir.
Yeah, I mean, the match itself, the Lynch Banks match was great. I mean, it was I think it was probably one of the best matches on the card. The two women's matches were really good tonight, despite pretty terrible creative for both of them.
Who went
Um,
over? Who went over?
I'm pretty sure Banks went over. I didn't see the finish because it was so spotty, but that kind of brings me to my point. It's like I didn't get I haven't been watching Raw because we've been so like depressed about the current state that I've just been um, catching that this week in WWE every Saturday. I'll watch it for like an hour, half an hour, however long it is, and just see what's happened. That way, I'm not just reading a dirt sheet; like I'm seeing the actual footage. So I'm actually kind of getting a sense for it. I know Marks would be ashamed and scoff at me, but I mean, it works. So I watched that, and everything was fine. So I knew that the feed for the network was fine. And then as soon as it went to the pre-show, it was just nothing. I couldn't get it on the computer, on my phone, on the tablet, on either one of my gaming systems. So it didn't come back up to the public that I saw online until 6:20, and I couldn't get it to work for me until 6:40. So I was already a few minutes into the Becky Lynch match, and then it was pretty spotty until then, and it didn't actually really clear up until about the middle of the like not the middle, but like the middle of the intros for the tag title match. That's when I got like pretty steady. But the match itself was really good. I mean, the Sasha Banks Lynch match, like honestly, if you're gonna rewatch anything, rewatch the kickoff show just for that match because it was pretty good.
They gave him some good time, I hope, especially
Yeah,
since it
yeah.
was
I
on the
think they got
pre-show.
I think they got like 15 minutes, or maybe 12, somewhere in there, but a decent amount of time.
Enough time to get their stuff in after entrances where they didn't feel like it was wham bam, thank you, ma'am, let's go home.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's good. Because I know on the main show, it seemed like everybody had enough time for their stuff, and I would even venture to say that a couple of matches had too much time. Um,
I think that this show was actually mapped out really well. I just think that some of the matches got too much time because the storylines have been falling flat. But I mean, they have been putting their storyline on TV, so I guess it makes sense they get this long match.
right. And the only one I think that really could have been a couple of minutes shorter is Jack Swagger and Alberto Del Rio. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
for sure,
only one.
for sure.
Everything else felt paced really well for me. Um, Even the Sheamus and Roman Reigns match, I felt was pretty decently paced.
Yeah,
Um, and shout out to those guys. Those guys worked hard as fuck tonight.
yeah,
Like,
that was a great match. Props to the main event for sure. Especially another instance of pretty terrible creative. But the guys worked
yeah,
phenomenally. Best match that Sheamus has worked in a long time, long time. And that just goes to show you how good Reigns really is in the ring. And I really think now it's like, dude, the real reason why Reigns isn't over, it's not that we don't like him as a worker. I think even the IWC would admit like he's a good worker. It's just his character is so bad right now. And it's both. It's his fault and it's creative, but it's just a double whammy of terrible.
I noticed though towards the end of the night, it seemed like they were trying to revert him back to the Shield badass gimmick, which is better than the John Cena 2.0.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah,
Hopefully
or
that's what we'll
yeah,
see.
dude. That to me, that's the problem with his entire thing. Like right now, they're trying to market him as like Daniel Bryan, where he like keeps getting crapped on, but then they're trying to have him look as strong as Cena, and like those two things don't mix. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing with Bryan was the fact that like he lost and he got screwed, and we knew he was getting screwed, but at the same time, it was still believable that he would lose. You know what I mean? Like you can't make this guy Reigns super amazing, like beat off the league. And where was Bayley? I mean, we'll get to the main event, but
Yeah,
I
because I
mean,
I have the exact same question. Like it was glaringly obvious
yeah,
that he wasn't there.
yeah,
But let's start from the beginning. I was surprised that the tag titles were the show opener.
yeah,
I
me
thought
too, for
I
sure.
thought for sure they were just gonna get Rusev and Ryback out of the way. Like, but it makes sense. It's TLC. You need a stipulation match to really kind of set the tone. But I feel like it hurt them because this match was so good, and then the next two, right? Because the next two were uh, Swagger and Del Rio, and then Rusev and Ryback. Like those were the next
Yeah,
two.
yeah, the other way around. Yeah, but yeah, that's how they
But
went.
but it was the two singles matches. So
Yeah,
like I feel like they would have done better maybe putting Swagger and Del Rio on first
but you can't do that because it's U.S. title.
because it's
I
the
think it
title,
should have been.
right?
I think you hit it on the head. It should have been Rusev and Ryback for sure.
But that match was such a snooze fest, and we'll get to that in a minute, that it wouldn't have set the tone like the tag title match did
Yeah,
because
you're right.
that match was great. It was great for a tone setter coming out of the gate.
Yeah,
Uh, it was like you were saying, it's a little clunky in the beginning. Um, I didn't notice it too much, except for like they would go to grab a ladder and somebody would grab it like over instead of under, and they had to adjust before doing the spot. Or like you watch Callisto and Sin Cara count down 3, 2, 1 before doing the moonsaults, or like just small stuff where like you can really see it.
yeah,
Um, but as the match went on, it got smoother, and
yeah. It did.
Callisto
It
had
started
spot of
off
the night.
clunky. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, man. That
That
spot is that's a highlight reel for a couple of years type spot. As long as
that's
he's
on
working in the WWE.
yeah, that's on his Tron. Like as soon as he goes
Yeah,
single.
yeah.
So I mean, the guy, that was a crazy spot. I believe Kofi took the bump, correct?
No, it was an USO.
Was it? Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was an Uso. You're right. So props to Uso Crazy for taking that crazy
Yeah,
ass spot.
yeah.
Uh,
Great
you know,
spot. Phenomenal spot. Looked smooth too. It didn't look like they were too nervous. Didn't look like it took too long. Didn't look like they got cold feet. It was smooth. I mean,
well, and
I
then
agree.
and then
Go ahead.
and then he took a swanton after it. Like Sin Cara rolled it
Yeah,
into a swanton. So that was really cool. I really thought that after that they would have given the Lucha Dragons the finish. But I'm glad New Day retained the titles because they're the most entertaining part about WWE TV right now.
yeah. Even though
So
even though with them like creatives beating us over the head with them, like it's like, oh yeah, you guys like this, you guys like this, you guys like this, you guys like this, like it's
yeah.
like God, man, it's a little too much New Day right now, honestly. They
But you
they
know
do
what?
need,
They're doing their job because if you notice, they came out and they were over as hell. But by the time they won, like when Xavier threw the trombone and all that crap, like they had so much heat. Like it's
oh yeah,
weird. Like
dude, yeah, they're
it's so
doing
weird.
great. I'm just saying, like, even if you give, like, for example, like, I mean, granted, Stone Cold didn't have like 3 hours of a show, but it's like you can't give the guy, if you gave him just 30 minutes of just talking to a crowd, not even about an opponent, but just about bullshit, it's like, it's a little too much. It's a little too much the New Day show right now to me. I mean, and that's like I said, I love New Day. I love their gimmick. I love all of them as workers. I think they're phenomenal. It's just too much of a good thing. It's like the creative knows like, well, New Day is pretty much the only thing that's legitimately really over right now. Like they like you said, they get cheers when they come out and they get boos when they leave and they're heels, and that's four horsemen straight up right there. You know what I mean? Like that's great. Like, but at the same time, it's like, if you too much, it's just too much of a good thing to me. They're wearing it out, and eventually, even marks like us are gonna be like, God, dude, New Day's getting X-Pac heat. You know what I mean? Like it's just gotta stop.
Well, it's
Or at
like
least trim down. Just let it, go back to 60 instead of 100. Like, you know what I mean? Just
you remember a couple months ago we were talking about how like we were seeing too much of Jericho. Like he wasn't the commodity that he was because he was showing up so often
yeah,
as like the special guest. So like I guess it's kind of the same thing where they're getting oversaturated with exposure, and not that they have any really weaknesses where they're not going to see any flaws. It's just you're going to see too much of them, and then you're going to go to resent them. I
Yeah.
mean, but great match. I gave the match a B plus, and the only reason it didn't get an A was because of the clunky intro. Um, you know, other than that, it was pretty much a flawless match.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, you covered it perfectly. I mean, it started off pretty clunky, but like it did. I mean, once the spots got a little bit crisper, once they gained momentum, they gained confidence, and you could just, I mean, from then on out, it was, it was a really good match. It was, this pay per view overall. Now that I'm really going back and dissecting each match, it really wasn't that bad. There were a couple really bad matches, but overall, it wasn't a bad show.
Well, let's get into one of the bad matches because I believe was it the U.S. title first or was it? It was Rusev and Ryback first, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this match I could have lived entirely without,
Yeah.
just entirely. Like keep them both off TV and just save some face somehow because I don't mind the fact that Lana and Rusev are back together. I don't mind the fact that they're heels. What I mind is you're hurting Rusev by making Lana the distraction, just as a heel tactic. You're talking about Rusev who went undefeated for almost a full year. You know, you're talking, you know, Lana who was telling people to shut up left and right, and now she's just a bystander valet. Like,
Right. Well, because
and
it's
it
too
also
diluted with the league, man. The League of Nations is, I mean, it really is a good idea in theory. Like, I
it's a
can
good
see
idea,
them.
but at the wrong time. Like,
Yeah,
if you'd have kept Lana face, if Lana would have stayed face, then Rusev in League of Nations would have been a great idea
yeah,
because he's by himself and he needs a
yeah,
unit to look strong. But when you put Lana with Rusev when Rusev has singles matches, but anything with the League of Nations, she stays in the back.
yeah,
So and I know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they're afraid that Lana's going to start getting cheers, and if she's out there with the League of Nations, that's not what they want, like at all. You
yeah.
know,
But I mean, I honestly think the smartest decision with them is what they should do is just keep her doing the cheap heat tactics, but she should be managing all of them. She should go to the ring with every single one of them. It'd be just as easy if she walked out with Sheamus tonight and they threw her back to the back, then you never see her again. But it makes sense if she's the manager of the league instead of just like Rusev's wife, soon-to-be wife. You know what I'm saying? It's like that doesn't. It seems like common sense to me. It's like just dude, like this has always worked in pro wrestling. Just make the mistake, make Lana JJ Dillon, make Lana like, make her the manager, make her Jim Cornette, or make her Paul
or
Heyman. You know what I mean?
Stephanie
Like,
McMahon during
or
the
Stephanie
invasion.
McMahon, yeah, yeah, anything. It's just to me it makes sense. You just need to make her the manager for all of them. Like, it just that to me would be smart because she's still over. People still like want to have a reaction to her. It's an instant way to help get Sheamus over. Like, I don't know. It's they're underutilizing her, which is weird because I'm not like, I'm not super, over on Lana other than the fact she is obviously wicked hot.
She's got heat though over that whole, the whole them coming out that they're engaged thing. Like she's got
Yeah,
nuclear heat
I
apparently.
know, but that's what I'm saying. Like they're doing something political to punish her to spite themselves when really it would just be best for business if they made her the manager of the League of Nations. It would just make more sense than
Well,
to have her be like a fifth wheel. Like it seems weird that she's even there.
they've never done anything strictly for business, and you know that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So after, I mean, this match was an utter failure for me, dude. Like, I mean, I hate giving Rusev a F, so I gave it a D minus because of Rusev. Like, I,
Dude, right now, Rusev does not deserve. Like, I know that he was this guy, and we all like him, and he's a good worker, but he hasn't really done anything lately to make him deserve not a failing thing. That doesn't mean that I hate the guy, or I mean, tonight, this match, he deserves an F to me.
it was bad. Like, it's the worst match of the night. Period.
Yeah, for sure, worst match of the night. I mean, I felt it. It was so bad, dude. I mean, the clunkiness, God, dude. If and a
But not even.
shout out to Pro Wrestling Cast right now. I know you got your award show coming up, and if Ryback is not the worst wrestler on your worst list, You guys are marks, straight up. Shots fired.
The gauntlet's been thrown. Ryback for slam me for worst wrestler ever.
I mean, they might do Eva Marie would be the only other passable one, but
Would you? So if you had to pick, if your finalists were Eva Marie, Dana Brooke, and Ryback, who would get the award?
God, I'd quit, man. I'd quit before I gave any of them an award. But I think honestly, if I had to give an award to the three of them,
Like who? Like which of those three would be worst wrestler of the year?
Eva Marie probably.
For the failed kick out?
No, just because she's really clunky. I mean, honestly, I mean, I've said it several times. I like Eva Marie, and I thought the match that she had with Bayley, with all like the way they planned it out to make her look better than she was really well done to me in that match with like the whole creative one, or corporate wants a model or whatever. I liked that match, but dude, she's terrible. I mean, she's way worse than Ryback, but that doesn't make Ryback any like better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be clear here. It doesn't make Ryback or Dana Brooke any better. Like, she's just the worst of the three. And I mean, it's neck and neck and neck. You know what I mean? Like, they're all that bad to me. Ryback is Eva Marie bad to me.
It's like 0.99, 0.98, and 0.97, right?
Yes.
Like it's that close.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So shout out to WrestleCast. You've got our vote. You know who our worst of the year is and how we've ranked them. So keep up. So after that was Del Rio and Swagger for the U.S. title, if I remember right, if I'm getting my order right, which I've been known to get it mixed up a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Look at that. This was a chairs match, and it doesn't matter who it is. I'm not a fan of chairs matches.
No,
like,
that don't make sense.
I didn't like Cena and Barrett. I didn't like, what was the other one? Didn't Big Show and Sheamus have a chairs match?
I think
so. There's been a few, and I haven't liked any of them. Like,
it's just that they don't make sense. It's like a chairs match is really just like
an
Extreme Rules match. Yeah, like, or a no DQ match, or a Falls Count Anywhere match, or whatever. Like,
but they've got to have their gimmicks. So
yeah.
And the sad thing is that I know Swagger can work. I know Del Rio can work. But good God, this was a train wreck too. Like, here's my analogy. We got a CM Punk chant in 2015 for a match that should have happened in 2013. That's about where we were with this match.
It did happen in 2013.
I know.
For the World Heavyweight title.
But that match, even that match back then was short. Like, this match was as long as that world title match should have been.
Yeah.
And the world title match was as short as this match should have been. So it was weird. Like, I think they both got overexposed. They had too much time. Del Rio didn't sell the ankle for shit after that ankle lock with the chair until after the match, and that pissed me off. I was like, you're not going to sell it while you're climbing the top rope when you jump off the top rope, but you're going to sell it after you win? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Sell during the match. And I know come Tuesday when Stone Cold does his review with Court Bauer or Wade Keller, or whoever he decides to review it with, two things are guaranteed: bastardizing the damn DDT and not selling. Those are the two things. But we didn't have Ziggler on this pay-per-view, so there's no bastardizing of the DDT, I don't think.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, I felt like this match really...
I see your video, but I don't hear sound.
Oh, no.
I see your mouth moving where you just said, oh, no, but I don't hear anything.
Wow, that's a problem.
What's weird is it might be on my end, because the camera's switching to you. So, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I'm just dying over here or what.
Well, I mean, as far as the Del Rio Swagger thing, while you're trying to fix that, I thought the match was actually pretty good. I just felt like the story again. It wasn't a great match to me. It wasn't a pay-per-view quality match. But at the same time, I feel like it has been a while since Swagger's really been in a situation where he's had like a big time match, and I felt like he performed well. I think they both did well. It's just the story is so stale between those two guys that it's just it just felt empty. So I mean, I gave the whole thing a C. That was my grade for the match.
I mean, I gave it. I mean, I guess a C minus. Like, it was mediocre. Like, I don't think it should have been a U.S. title match, and I didn't care about the match to begin with because we've seen stereotypical swagger as USA versus any other country that is a heel. Like I got tired of swagger with Rusev. You know, like I don't know. I feel like they wasted their time with this match. Like there could have been better opponents for Del Rio. Um, so yeah, I'll go with a C minus. What's funny is I'm reading your lips, so I can kind of catch most of what you're saying, but with the lag, I kind of lose it every now and again. Um, so after Swagger and Del Rio, we had the elimination style match, the tables match, the Dudleys and the Wyatts, which I didn't have high hopes for this because I knew with 8 people and with it being elimination style, I knew it was going to be a clusterfuck from the word go. And honestly, with veterans like the Dudley Boys and Tommy Dreamer and Rhino, it came together really well. I think they were super smart by putting the Wyatts over. I think they really needed the win. I wish they would have maybe had like Harper get eliminated to where Strowman and Wyatt are the last two. But I understand you don't want to take any shine off of Harper because Harper's your best worker out of those. So I'm okay with the Wyatt win. I'm okay with the win in a dominant fashion like they did. Um, I I'm scared that they're gonna treat the Dudley Boys like they did the New Age Outlaws when the Outlaws came back for a run, where they're just gonna constantly put over young talent, which isn't bad. It isn't bad, but I think in a way, with the exposure that WWE has, you're gonna ruin their credibility that they have because 9 and 10-year-olds whose parents know who the Dudleys are and love the Dudleys and have a reason to mark out for the Dudleys, those 9 and 10-year-olds aren't going to because they have no credibility on this run. They haven't beaten New Day for the titles. They've put over a lot of people. They're in this program with the White. They put over New Day twice, 3 times. I think twice. I could be wrong. But so you put over New Day, you put over Wyatt's. How, if your plan is to bring, because I heard a rumor, if your plan is to bring the Hardy Boys in and then just replace Edge and Christian with Team C or whichever team you want to do, like the Usos or whoever, if that's your plan for Mania, the Dudleys need some credibility because the Hardys are going to come back with a full head of steam, and
yeah, and
you
they're
need
going
all
to get a
three.
huge pop.
All 3 need to have steam if they come back. So the match, because I like the booking situation, I gave it a B minus. Props for the Dudleys for putting over the Wyatts when apparently the booking doesn't want to most of the time. Dude, Bubba Ray went ham on Braun Strowman. Like I was like, hey, that's Bully Ray style coming out, but we'll never see Bully Ray. Like I wish we would, but I think the Dudleys are staying together in the E until they retire. He'll never get a single run in that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't, I mean, as well as Bully Ray did, you can't bring him in and just let him have a singles run when the nostalgia is all Dudley Boys,
So what was after the Dudleys match?
The IC belt, Ambrose and Owens.
Yeah. That's right. Because after them, yeah, that's right. Divas title got to co-main. Look at that. They moving up in the world. So were you surprised that Ambrose went over? Because I thought for sure Run Train.
Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, I was really surprised that they put him over. I mean, I understand that like you're trying to move him towards a different program and possibly for Brock Lesnar at Mania, but I mean, you can't have him lose the IC title and then face a guy like Brock Lesnar and be expected to like be taken seriously. Like, I mean, it looks good on paper, Lesnar Owens, but it's like you can't keep burying Owens and expect him to have a marquee name. Like But it's the same thing that we're talking about, man. It's like we always want, we always want both guys to go over. Like if there's two good guys, we always want both guys to end up looking good at the end of the match. And I didn't feel like Owens lost a lot of steam, but you can't lose matches at all and face Lesnar and be considered a contender to him.
You know what would have been, because I couldn't hear any of that, obviously, and you guys know, listening, I can't hear what he's saying. So if you hear something twice, I apologize. What really bugs me is that they have a tremendous opportunity. What if Owens would have won? Like, what if Owens wins and then Brock faces Owens for the Intercontinental title? Like, if you want to make the Intercontinental title mean something tremendous, that could be one way to do it. I know Brock's a prize fighter. He's not going to be satisfied with anything but the world title. But, like, you could swing it some way where Brock's a face facing Sheamus and Owens screws Brock and Brock's going for a revenge fight. Like, you could do something like that. And you could swing it where you could put so much build behind that Intercontinental title if Owens would have held on to it. I don't have a problem with Ambrose winning. The match was good. The work was good. Owens looked phenomenal, like, as always, in terms of in-ring work. I gave the match a B, which I've given a lot of matches this show, because not a lot of it was bad. But, I mean, why give Ambrose the title if you're not going to go for the feel-good brother moment at the end of the show?
Right.
That's one thing that, like, I don't understand. And I still can't hear you because I see you nodding your head and talking. So,
oh no, that's terrible.
I think if I leave, though, it's going to close the Hangout. So I don't even think I can reset it. So,
right on, okay.
So,
okay.
Cutting videos short, or just deal with, you just running your mouth and me just running my mouth. Woohoo. Yeah. So after that was the women's match, Charlotte and Paige. I wish they would make up their mind, because it's like they've reached panic mode, realizing that Charlotte can't really go the distance as a face. So it's like they're turning her, but they're flip-flop turning her. Like, she's acting like a heel in the ring with Nate at ringside. Then she's trying to cover it up with, like, babyface tendencies in the promos and all this crap. Like, the whole Miz TV thing, they should have flipped her on a dime and just, like, flipped it, F you Miz, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't. But, like, they tried to like, pansy it up where she's kind of heel, but her daddy's Ric Flair, so it's okay because Nate is a 2-time Hall of Famer. Just turn her. I mean, obviously tonight's really going to be, tonight's the transition point where she's actually using heel tactics to win rather than just a roll-up. So I like the match. Great work. I even like that Nate got involved. Like, I like the fact that it took Nate saving Charlotte for Charlotte to not lose. I don't know if they're going to flip Paige babyface, but, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. It might record your audio. We'll find out. If nothing else, we'll reshoot it. I don't think they should flip Paige babyface. I think you'd be better off flipping Sasha babyface. And I think that's the way you need to go with things. Have Becky and Sasha as your baby faces, and then Charlotte and Paige as your two main heels, and then you can bring Bayley up whenever you want against Charlotte. Because I think if Charlotte stays as a heel champ, that's how Bayley's going to face Charlotte, which would be a good match. So, but what did you think? What did you think about Charlotte and Paige?
I thought that this was like second of the night for me as far as best match on the card. I thought they did a really good job. I thought a little too much of Ric Flair being involved. Love Flair. I love that he was there, and I do think the involvement was good. I think it was just a little too much, or maybe it was just a few spots that were a little weird with it. But I think overall, The match was great. I gave it, you know, four out of five, or since you can't really hear me.
Yeah, I mean, 4 out of 5 is about where I would put it. And this one, I actually think that this one, even though the creative behind Charlotte's story isn't too good, I think the creative, like booking the finish, I think that was really good. Because I think if you're going to flip Charlotte heel, then I mean, I'd say keep Nate on the road, man. Like, let him cut promos for her because he's a million times better on the stick than she is, even at his age where all he does is woo, 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 like he could just do that and get heat.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I think that's the way they need to go with her. Um, it's just like, my fear is, actually, it's not really a fear. I think if they do that, they'll still put Sasha on the back burner because I think Nia Jax will end up beating Bayley, unfortunately. And I think that Bayley's coming up to face Charlotte. I think that's how they're going with it. Um, which I won't complain if I get Bayley and Charlotte at WrestleMania 32. Like, I won't complain about that one bit. But moving on to the main event with Sheamus and Reigns, this was another match where I really wasn't expecting a lot, and I thought there was some great spots. They came out of the gate hitting hard as fuck, like fucking freight trains. So let it be said that Roman Reigns and Sheamus can work together. Like, their styles complement each other. They're both brawlers. The creative behind it is shit. Their promo work is garbage to mediocre at best. Um, you know, I think that if you cut down on the promo time and if you moved more of just like silent badass attitude era brawls with these two, you've got money, like money in your back pocket.
yeah,
The match was solid. I like that Reigns didn't win now because I do believe that Reigns is going to win at WrestleMania. I think they're going to wait. They're going to give him the Mania moment, especially if they're doing the whole Daniel Bryan comparison thing. Sense it'll end up backfiring on them probably because they're probably going to lay it on too thick. But I think that that's the way to go. That's how, I mean, because if you think about it, that's how you do it, man. You put your baby faces over at the biggest show. I mean, that's where
yeah,
your storylines resolve, and I mean, that's when you really cash in on the baby faces. So I think that's where he'll win. Um, I like that. You know, here's my thing. I know the Usos and Ambrose already fought, but so did Del Rio and Rusev. If League of Nations came out, shouldn't, the Reigns family have come out?
yeah,
That's my thing. And where the fuck was Wade Barrett? Like, the other two are there, and it's glaringly obvious that the King of the Ring is not there. So that bugged me.
yeah,
Um, Other than that, it was a good match. The post-match beatdown where Reigns just went ape shit was the best part of the night, aside from the tag title match. Like, it was so fulfilling. Even all the guys were popping for it. He went balls to the wall. The attack on Triple H, phenomenal. I mean, this is literally the case of, if Hunter cannot get him over, he's not getting over. That is literally where they're at right now with Roman Reigns.
yeah,
Because if Hunter cannot get him over as a babyface, he's not getting over as a babyface. Hunter has put over the best and the worst. So,
true.
I mean, if Triple H cannot put you over and get people behind you, you're done. I mean, you can't do it. The guy is so good at what he does. And we're talking about a match where guys were chanting, "We want Cena" in the beginning. You know what I mean? So,
It was Boston though.
but to flip, I will flip from "We want Cena" at the 9:15 mark to, by 9:55, them chanting "Thank you, Roman," after he speared and, elbow dropped Triple H. So, I mean, that's good. That's good booking. Like, that's the way you need to book Roman Reigns. He needs to come in, beat the shit out of people, and leave, and just call it a day.
Yeah,
And that's it. And there's your next baby face. He
yeah,
doesn't need to be John Cena. He doesn't need to do all the Make-A-Wish. He doesn't need to be the next poster boy for Fruity Pebbles. Let him be the badass ass kicker. It's what Stone Cold did. I mean, it worked with Stone Cold. Just get rid of the beer, get rid of the cursing, get rid of the middle finger, and you've got Roman Reigns. I mean, I know Austin's better on the stick, but in terms of attitude and persona, I mean, Roman Reigns already thinks he's invincible when he comes into the ring. So let him be. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to bitch anyway.
Right.
So,
Right.
what'd you think?
I mean, I thought the match was great. I thought that this is the best match that Sheamus has worked for sure since he's been back. Other than maybe one that he had with Neville that was really good. But yeah, I mean, dude, I'm totally with you. Like, where was Barrett? Why was he not out there? And then why didn't Ambrose come out with Reigns? I mean, they, especially after that big promo in the back about them both winning the title tonight and going to the after party or whatever. And it's like, I mean, the match was really good. The creative was great. That's what I feel like. I thought Roman did a great job with the beatdown and with Triple H and all that. That was really good. Stephanie's reaction was really good. But I thought that in the beginning with the run-ins and everything, like you should have had Barrett there. You should have had Lana there. You should have had Ambrose come out and do something to help, Reigns. Like, but overall, I think Roman is going to win the title at Royal Rumble because then he'll go over at Mania against Triple H for the title, and then Roman Reigns will be the huge, awesome, badass guy. To me, that makes the most sense. I know we can't really argue about it because you can't hear
I
me.
don't know. I don't. As much as I'd like to see that, like I'd love to have Reigns win before Mania. I really don't think that Trips is going to put himself into the world title shot at Mania because then
Why not? He's the most over.
I know he's the boss and I know he can, but then you've got to worry about. I mean, the only way I could see it working is if he was so devious that he made himself number 30 in the Royal Rumble and won the Royal Rumble, and the marks would just die. Like
it would
the
be great.
internet would go crazy, but it'd be perfect. It would be perfect. Like booking wise, it's the most devious thing the Authority would have ever done because they didn't even do that with Daniel Bryan. So like that would be something different. It hasn't been done since Vince did it, actually, because Vince already did it. So that's probably why they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but I mean,
but I could
just
see
put
it
him in there
happening.
like 25.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them doing it. I think that'd be cool. That would be the best out of a worse situation. I just think that's a really bad fallback if you're trying to break the 100,000 people. You know what I mean?
Triple H,
yeah,
Roman Reigns.
I understand that everybody's been waiting for Roman Reigns versus Triple H because it's been ever since they dropped the whole "we're going to have our own Game of Thrones" reference.
What else do you have for a main event, though? What else do you have for a main event for Mania? What else could be the main event?
Well, and that's my thing is like, what do they have for Triple H other than that? Like, who do you put him against? Because if Brock's going to be fighting Owens, I mean, because nobody wants to see Brock versus Triple H again. It's been 3 times already. Rock's busy. Ronda Rousey could do something with Steph, because she's done until 200. Because that was announced, by the way. Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm rematch, UFC 200. It's happening. So, like, what else do you do? Because there's really nobody big, unless the only thing that I could see is if Shawn comes back for one more. That would be the only thing I would see Triple H doing, but I don't think Shawn's ever going to get in the ring again. Same thing for Austin. I don't think Austin's going to get in the ring again either. And you're shaking your head over there. You were the one saying, it's all a work. It's all a work. He's going to wrestle Brock. Everybody's allowed to be wrong, man.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think that that's as much as kooky as I think it is. I really think that's probably the best thing they could do. I just wish there was something more, because they're plagued with injuries. It's just a hard spot for them to be in right now. Overall, I gave TLC a C plus B minus, which is way higher than I thought it would be for the December pay-per-view with as shitty as television's been lately. I don't know, man. Let's hit your grade and let's try to throw this show out of here with voice only coming out of one side.
Well, I mean, I thought the show was pretty good too. I would have leaned a little bit more on the C plus side, but I mean it was. I really thought they were going to do something with Cena because it's in Boston and he's coming back soon. Even if you just like announce that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble or something like that, I felt like that would have probably been smart to boost ratings. Because right now it still kind of seems like the same thing. But I mean, overall, it was a good show. The matches were good, but it didn't feel like the end of any storyline. So I give it a C plus.
Yeah, pretty fair grade. I think that's a fair grade. Here's to hoping that Monday Night Raws get a little bit better like this TLC pay-per-view was, because I feel like this TLC pay-per-view without the gimmick matches could have just been a very good Raw. You know what I mean? Like this could have been an A minus Raw without all the stipulations. So here's to hoping that TV itself gets better. I won't know too much because I'm probably only going to Raw and focus mainly on pay-per-views. So if you don't see us doing our week in wrestling or our Monday Night Raw reviews, we're sorry. Monday Night Football is in prime time right now, so it's kind of hard to juggle both. We do watch NXT though, because you can't miss your NXT.
Yes.
So
Takeover.
it's the
Are we
best
doing
thing
a show for
WWE's
Takeover?
got going right now.
Are we gonna do a show for
And we're for
Takeover?
sure going to review Takeover. Like without a doubt, we're reviewing Takeover. Uh, both London, and then we're going to have to do a doubleheader because they're doing a Takeover in Dallas right before Mania. So we're going to have to doubleheader that weekend. So that's going to be crazy. I saw the advertisements yesterday, so that's kind of cool.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, it's going to be great. So that's going to do it for us this week. Another pay-per-view in the books. We'll be at 10 months next month. Royal Rumble makes 10 months since we've done this. For now, I'm Matt. He's Dan. We're Mouth of the Mark. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.